Hey folks, tonight we're not stepping into the Rome you've seen in textbooks or blockbusters. There are no gleaming palaces, no polished marble courtyards, no senators in spotless togas giving grand speeches. The part built not on pillars and triumphs, but on silence, suffering, and chains. We're descending into the Roman prison system, the damp cells, the rusted iron, the forgotten lives. Where freedom was a rumor, and survival was a gamble you played every single day. No, we're going somewhere else, somewhere darker. Drop a comment with where you're tuning in from, and what time it is. Always fascinating to see who's keeping the night watch with us. Welcome to the underbelly of the Empire. So before we slide those heavy stone doors shut behind us, take a second to like the video if this kind of raw, late-night dive into the uncomfortable corners of history is your thing. Now lower the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that low hum, and get ready to settle into something real. Let's begin. One moment, your life feels ordinary. The next, it's ripped apart like a thread in an old tunic. That's the moment the Roman guards show up. There's no warning, no time to pack or say goodbye. Just the clatter of heavy boots on stone, the sudden slam of a wooden door, and the cold, hard grip of iron shackles around your wrists. From the smell of your home, from the faces of those you love, from the sun that still warms your skin. Maybe you are doing nothing wrong. Maybe you just happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. To them, you're just another prisoner, a show of power. Some sneer, some point fingers, some laugh. You're a spectacle, paraded before the eyes of those who once treated you like a neighbor or a stranger, not a prisoner. Your mind is locked on one thing. What comes next? Your feet blister on rough roads. Your clothes tear against brambles. A single wrong move, a whispered word, and the guards are quick to remind you who holds the power. Their whips crack in the air, their fists strike without mercy. The world you once knew fades away with every step. You try to understand what's happening, but confusion quickly turns to fear. What did you do? What will happen next? The questions swirl in your mind, but no answers come. Your fate is sealed in that moment. Prisoner, captive, victim of an empire's ruthless law. A spark of hope or defiance, a small voice whispering that this can be the end. But luck, as you'll learn soon enough, wasn't on your side. The guards don't care about your story. They don't ask questions. Their job is simple. Take you. Drag you away from everything you know. They shove you forward, rough hands pushing your back. Your feet stumble on cobblestones, your breath hitches. Welcome to the start of a life you never wanted, but can't escape. The guards are soldiers of Rome, trained to obey orders and keep control. Their faces are hard, their grip unforgiving. You feel the weight of their authority pressing down on you, heavier than the iron around your wrists. Around you, the city goes on. Markets bustle. Children run through streets. You're forced to march through narrow alleys, down busy streets, sometimes even past the grand forums where senators discuss laws that will never help you. Passers-by look on, some with disgust, others with curiosity. You're shamed openly, your dignity stripped alongside your freedom. There is no mercy in their eyes, no hesitation in their step. The sun beats down or the cold wind bites at your skin, but you barely notice. The journey to the prison is often long, sometimes hours, sometimes days. You trudge behind your captors, chained and helpless. You learn quickly. Resistance only brings punishment. There's no chance to explain, no time to plead. And yet, even in this nightmare, something flickers inside you. But that voice is quiet, barely audible over the clank of chains and the shouts of guards. This is the first step into a world where your luck has truly run out. Welcome to the start of a life you never wanted but can't escape. Once the guards have you in their grip, the journey begins. It's not a simple walk or a quiet ride to some distant place. No, It's a public ordeal designed to break you before you even reach the prison walls. Picture this: iron shackles biting into your wrists and ankles, clinking loudly with every step. But today, the noise changes. Whispers turn into snickers, and curious eyes follow your every move. You're no longer a man or woman walking through the market. You're a prisoner, a cautionary tale wrapped in rags and shame. The chains are heavy, cold, and unyielding. A constant reminder that you're no longer your own person. They rattle like a cruel soundtrack to your humiliation. Others mock you openly, spitting insults or throwing scraps of rotten food. You catch a child pointing at you with wide eyes, their mother pulling them away with a warning glance. The shame stings more than the chains. You're forced to march through crowded streets, the kind where the hustle of merchants, farmers, and city dwellers usually fills the air with life. A stumble or a whispered plea might earn a harsh kick or a swipe of a whip. Their cruelty is a tool, sharpened to keep prisoners in line. Some onlookers cross to the other side of the street, avoiding your gaze. The world you once knew continues around you, but you're trapped outside of it, a shadow forced to march with the weight of chains and shame. They shout your crimes, real or imagined, for all to hear, painting you as a villain to justify the punishment you're about to face. The journey was just the beginning, but it already feels like a punishment worse than any sentence. The chain around your ankle digs into your skin, each step a fresh torment. Your lungs burn from heavy breathing, your throat dry and raw, but the guards show no sign of slowing down. It's a cruel performance, but no one applauds. Your feet, bound and bruised, pound the uneven stones of Rome's streets. The sun beats down mercilessly, or the cold wind slices through your thin clothing. You can't wipe the sweat from your brow or the tears from your cheeks. There rests no time, no space, no mercy. It's a message. To you, and to everyone who watches, Rome's power is absolute, its reach is long, and resistance is meaningless. Sometimes the guards pause, making you kneel or forcing you to look at the crowd like an animal on display. The journey drags on, hour after hour. Your muscles scream with exhaustion. You learn quickly that this journey isn't just about moving you from one place to another. The guards are relentless, their expressions cold and impassive. They barely acknowledge your struggles. As you pass through narrow alleys and busy squares, you glimpse the city in ways you never wanted to see it, through a lens of fear and despair. At night, when the march ends and you're shoved into whatever grim cell awaits, your body aches from the journey, and your spirit feels just as battered. This long, humiliating parade strips away the last threads of your freedom. It's a slow march from life to captivity, from hope to hopelessness. And yet, somewhere deep inside, you hold on to a fragile thought. Maybe, just maybe, this journey doesn't have to be the end of your story. You're finally here. The gates slam shut behind you with a sound like a verdict you already knew. The journey is over, but your real punishment has only just begun. The cell is nothing like a home. It's a cramped, dark hole carved from cold stone, maybe a few feet wide, barely tall enough to stand, and too small to stretch out. You lie down and feel the chill seep into your bones. This floor will be your bed, your resting place, your only constant. No windows, or if there are any, they're tiny slits that barely let in a slice of light. Time here doesn't flow. It drips, slow and endless. No clean water runs here. Only the grime and filth brought in on your skin, on the guards' boots, on the shoes of the rats. The stench clings to you and never quite leaves. You become part of the cell's rot, a living shadow in a tomb of stone. It's quiet but heavy, a slow poison that dulls your senses and shrinks your thoughts until all that's left is a flicker, a memory of who you used to be. Every second stretches like the crack of dawn that never comes. Day after day, hour after hour, you lie there, waiting. waiting for food that might never come, for guards to deliver some news, for any sign that this nightmare has an end. But each cold night, each rat's rustle, each breath of stale air chips away at that hope. The silence is broken only by distant echoes, the drip of water, the scurry of rats, the low moans of other prisoners lost in their own despair. The air is thick and stale, heavy with damp and a smell you can't quite place at first. It lingers, a mix of mold, sweat, and something sour that sticks in your nose no matter how deeply you breathe. There's no mattress, no blankets, just the hard, uneven floor that's rough against your skin and soaked with decades of misery. The walls close in, pressing on your mind as much as your body. Rats, they are everywhere. These aren't the cute kind you see in children's stories, but the hungry, bold kind that scurry over your feet, gnaw at scraps, and watch you with tiny, unblinking eyes. You try not to react, but every rustle makes your heart jump. You're not alone here, but the company is far from comforting. Sometimes the cells shared with others, men or women whose crimes or fates brought them here too. There's no fire, no way to warm yourself, and certainly no hope of comfort. The dampness seeps into your clothes and skin, chilling you down to the marrow. Your fingers turn numb. Your teeth chatter quietly in the dark. They breathe heavy and restless, shifting through nightmares you can't understand. Their whispers mix with your own thoughts, but no real connection forms. Just strangers thrown together by misfortune. The cold is unrelenting. The stone drinks the heat from your body until you shiver uncontrollably. Hygiene is a forgotten luxury. The cell is a prison within a prison, a trap for your body and mind. But most of all, you wait against the creeping weight of despair. You try to hold on to that flicker. You tell yourself this place isn't your home, just a temporary shadow on your path. Welcome to your new home. Welcome to the cell. Hunger is a slow, gnawing companion. In the cell, it's always there, whispering at the edges of your mind, growing louder with each passing hour. You learn quickly that food here isn't nourishment, it's a punishment. The guards don't bring feasts or even meals you could call decent. Instead, what arrives is meager and miserable, a small lump of stale bread. The bread is tough and dry, crumbs catching in your throat, making you cough. Every spoonful is a reminder of how little you're worth. You eat it slowly, trying not to think about the emptiness in your belly growing bigger with every bite. You swallow against the burn in your chest, wishing for water, but the water is as scarce as kindness in these walls. Hard enough to crack teeth, a thin bowl of watery porridge that tastes like a mix of dust and regret. Sometimes a splash of sour wine, more to dull your senses than to satisfy thirst. Desperation pushes you to chew on anything, dry crusts, bits of straw, even the rough edges of your clothing. There's no variety, no warmth, no comfort. You drink sparingly, knowing every drop is precious. Thirst claws at you like hunger's cruel cousin, never quite satisfied. Your muscles shrink, your skin tightens over bones, your energy fades. But trust is rare. Hunger breeds suspicion and desperation. You learn quickly to keep your food close and your eyes open. The idea of a full meal becomes a distant dream, something almost mythical. A world where food is not punishment, but life. Hunger might break your body, but it won't break your spirit. Not yet. You move slower, speak softer, retreat into yourself. The hunger isn't just physical. It eats away at your will to fight, to hope, to survive. Just the bare minimum to keep you alive, or barely alive. The jealousy gnaws at you, sharper than any blade. Hunger is no longer just about food. It's about injustice. You sit in the dark, stomach twisting in knots, imagining meals you once had. Fresh fruit from the market, warm bread straight from the oven, rich stews bubbling over fires. Memories sting sharper than hunger. It's a diet designed to weaken your body, wear down your spirit, and remind you that you are at Rome's mercy. You clutch the bread in your hands, watching the crumbs fall through your fingers like lost hope. The porridge is worse. A gray, lumpy mess that smells faintly of old grain and something sour. It's thin and watery, barely filling your stomach. Sometimes the guards forget to bring the food on time, or at all. In the worst moments, you watch others eat better. Fellow prisoners with bribes, guards who share scraps, or visitors who bring small treats. Your body begins to change. You learn to ration what little you get, saving crumbs for later, hiding scraps under your tongue, or in cracks in the stone floor. Water is no salvation. It's cold, muddy, and barely enough to wet your lips. Sometimes prisoners share their meager portions, a small act of kindness in a place designed to crush kindness. This endless hunger sharpens your senses to pain, cold, and fear. It turns your thoughts inward, twisting memories into cravings. And yet, somehow, you survive. You swallow the stale bread, sip the thin porridge, and grit your teeth to the emptiness. Because in a place where every crumb counts, holding on to hope is the only thing that keeps you alive. In this world behind iron bars and stone walls, the guards are more than just keepers. They are the sharp edges of the empire, the constant reminder that you are no longer free. They don't speak much, but their silence says everything. They don't need to yell to make you understand. You are under their control, and their control is absolute. Sometimes they pause just long enough to glare, to remind you they see every move, hear every whisper. They watch for signs of rebellion, of weakness, of escape. Their presence fills the cell like a shadow you can't shake, always watching, always waiting. You see them when you first arrive. Rough men clad in heavy leather and iron, faces weathered by sun and battle, eyes cold and unreadable. Every so often, you catch a glimpse of something different, a flicker of fatigue, a trace of pity hidden beneath layers of duty. Bound by orders, forced to enforce a system that grinds down even them. You note which ones are more likely to be distracted, which hold grudges, which are quick to anger. In this place, knowledge can be a weapon, a way to avoid trouble, or maybe, just maybe, to survive. Their faces are masks, hiding whatever humanity they might still cling to beneath the armor and the harsh commands. These moments are rare and brief, quickly buried beneath the harsh routines of prison life. A careless word or slow step might earn a blow from a club or the sting of a whip. They control the locks, the keys, the chains, and the punishments. Every day, their presence tightens the cage around your life a little more. They wield cruelty like a tool, carving fear into your flesh and mind to keep you in line. Some guards are young and eager, proud to serve Rome with a sharp whip and sharper tongue. Others are older, their faces scarred by years of violence and hard labor, their voices gruff with exhaustion and bitterness. No matter their age or rank, they share a grim purpose to keep you contained and broken. They steal scraps of your already meager food or mock your suffering with cruel jokes. They enjoy their power, and you are their captive audience, powerless to respond. They bark orders to stand, to kneel, to be silent. Their voices carry the weight of authority and the promise of pain. You learn quickly that questioning them only brings punishment, and compliance is your only shield. They patrol the halls, their boots echoing on the stone floors, a steady, relentless drumbeat in your ears. When they speak, it's usually a command, short, harsh, delivered like a lash. Punishment. The word lingers in every interaction. A guard's glance can be as sharp as a sword. Sometimes the guard's cruelty spills beyond their orders. But not all guards are the same. You realize the guards live their own kind of imprisonment. You watch them closely, learning their habits, their moods. Yet, even as you study them, you never forget the truth. These guards hold your fate in their hands. They are the face of Rome's justice in its darkest form, cold, unyielding, and merciless. And until you find a way out of this hell, they are the world you must live in. In the cell, darkness is more than just the absence of light. It's a presence, thick, heavy, and all-encompassing. It creeps into your bones and seeps into your thoughts, twisting time and space until day and night lose meaning. When the sun disappears beyond the city walls, you disappear with it. Your eyes adjust quickly to the gloom, but no amount of adaptation can make the darkness feel less cruel. The shadows stretch out, swallowing every corner, turning every sound into a threat. Most days, your world is reduced to black stone walls, closing in around you, an endless void where hope struggles to survive. Your thoughts echo louder than any footsteps or voices you might hear far away. Sometimes in the silence, you swear you can hear whispers, ghosts of prisoners past, or perhaps just your own mind unraveling. It hides you from the world's gaze, shields you from the jeers and eyes of strangers. You learn to hold on to the smallest light, a flicker of hope, a memory, the faintest dream of freedom. These glimpses of brightness become treasures, shining beacons in a world designed to snuff out hope. That tiny spark becomes your lifeline, a fragile shield against the all-consuming night. In the black, no one can see your shame, your pain, your fear. But soon enough, you discover you're part of a strange and unwelcome family. Other prisoners, trapped like you, each carrying their own burdens, fears, and regrets. Others are unlucky souls caught in the Empire's relentless machinery, victims of accusations or bad luck. You might find yourself beside someone who can't understand a word you say, yet you're forced to live shoulder to shoulder, sharing the same misery in silence. Stealing is common, a crust of bread, a thread of cloth, because hunger and fear twist even the strongest bonds. You learn to watch your back, clutch your possessions tightly, and keep your secrets close. They become a shared currency, a way to escape the stone walls for a moment and journey elsewhere, even if just in your mind. When the guards are away, tensions flare. Fights break out over scraps or space, fueled by fear and anger. The noise echoes off the stone, a harsh reminder that misery breeds more misery. You learn to stay quiet, avoid trouble, and pick your moments wisely. It's a reminder that in this dark place, your fate is intertwined with strangers, and survival is a shared struggle. Stories are a balm and a burden. They fuel hope, but also remind you of what you've lost. You don't always know who is worse off, those who chose crime or those crushed by circumstance. Sometimes, a prisoner will share a crumb of food or a word of encouragement, a soft whisper in the dark, reminding you that even here, kindness can survive. You lie awake, listening to their pain as if it were your own, bound together by invisible threads of despair. These fleeting acts are lifelines, reminders that you're still human beneath the dirt and despair. The company isn't a comfort. It's another layer of challenge in a place designed to crush hope. You are invisible, forgotten, a ghost inside stone walls. Without light, your senses sharpen and dull all at once. Every noise seems louder, every breath closer, yet you feel utterly alone. In those moments, you realize you're connected by more than bars and chains. You're connected by survival. You are not alone in suffering, and that bitter truth can be both comforting and crushing. The cell's tiny window, if it exists at all, offers just a sliver of gray sky or a faint ray of sun, and often not even that. Your skin pales, your eyes strain against the blackness, and your mind wanders into places better left alone. Wait for the day when the gates will open again, when the sun will touch your face, when the world outside will call you back to life. The rats become your only companions, their eyes glowing faintly in the dark. Their scurrying echoes like footsteps, a reminder that life continues, even when you feel utterly trapped. There's barely enough room to sit without touching another person. Privacy is a forgotten word here. Your life, your pain, Your desperation is on full display. Strangers become your only companions, but companionship here is complicated. The quiet allows your fears to grow. Memories of home, of freedom, of the life you once knew. Each thought is a sharp blade, cutting through your resolve. Time slips away in this darkness. Without the sun's rise and fall to mark the hours, days blend into nights, and nights into days. You lose track of how long you've been here. Hours, weeks, months. The calendar of your past life means nothing in this timeless gloom. Without light, your body starts to betray you. The darkness invites loneliness. You speak less, your voice hoarse from disuse. In the dead of night, when even the guards grow quiet, the cell becomes a cavern of shadows. But there is a strange, twisted comfort in the darkness too. Still, the darkness is a thief. It steals your strength and your spirit, piece by piece. Sometimes, prisoners find ways to bring a little light into their cells. A shard of glass, a smuggled candle, a crack in the wall where sunlight sneaks in for a moment. But most of the time, you sit in the dark and wait. Until then, you live in shadows, fighting to keep your mind and soul from fading away with the light. When you first arrive in the prison, you might think you're alone in your suffering. Cells are often shared, though cramped beyond reason. These fellow prisoners come from all walks of life. Some are hardened criminals, their faces marked by years of violence and rebellion. Language is a barrier too. In Rome's vast empire, people speak many tongues. Trust is a rare commodity. Here, desperation breeds suspicion. Every glance might hide a threat, every whisper a plot. Still, in this bleakness, moments of unexpected humanity flicker through the gloom. The company also brings stories, tales from the outside, rumors of the empire, memories of freedom. Conflict is never far. There are moments of quiet too, shared silences where the weight of captivity settles heavily on all shoulders. Sleep is a fragile reprieve, often disturbed by the sounds of others, coughing, groaning, or restless shifting. The company you keep in prison is a mirror, reflecting your fears, your pain, your fragile hope. And so, you live each day surrounded by faces you didn't choose, in a family forged by hardship and misery, learning to endure together and apart. In a Roman prison, punishment isn't just a consequence, it's a constant presence, a language spoken in pain and fear. You learn quickly that discipline is harsh, swift, and often brutal, designed to break not just your body, but your spirit. There are no warnings, no second chances. A misstep, a word out of place, a slow response, a glance deemed disrespectful, can trigger a punishment so severe it echoes long after the pain fades. You are often left in painful positions for hours or days, limbs numb or burning, muscles cramping under the weight of your own captivity. The guards hold the power to enforce Rome's law with ruthless efficiency, and they use it without hesitation. Beatings are common. The lash of a whip, the strike of a wooden cudgel, or a heavy blow from a club fall without mercy. Your dignity, already battered, is trampled beneath their boots. Food withheld, privileges revoked, time added to your sentence. Every punishment marks you. Bruises bloom on your skin, scars etch their stories into your flesh. But it's the invisible wounds, the fear and shame that cut the deepest. Hunger and boredom become tools of torment, slowly eroding your will. You realize that in this place, pain is not only physical, it's a weapon aimed at your identity, your pride, your very humanity. It means being cut off entirely. No light, no company, only endless silence and your own racing thoughts. They brace for the pain, drawing on reserves of strength they didn't know they had. It's a dangerous game with high stakes, but it's the only way to keep your soul intact. One wrong move and the consequences are brutal. Other times, it's complex, involving secret tunnels, bribed guards, or hidden tools fashioned from scraps. But all plans share one cruel truth. Most fail. Guards patrol in pairs or groups, dogs sniff the air, torches blaze through the night. The city beyond the prison walls is a maze of dangers. Soldiers, informants, narrow alleys where freedom can turn to death. You learn to be patient, to watch, to wait for the rare moments when the guards are distracted, when the darkness offers a cover thick enough to hide your movements. And in learning to understand it, you learn the cruel cost of captivity in the heart of the Roman Empire. Thick stone walls rise like silent sentinels. Iron bars twist around narrow windows, unyielding and cold. And a curse, a fragile hope that can save you or destroy you in the blink of an eye. And we're caught. The savage punishments, the months in solitary, the hopelessness that follows. In those moments, escape isn't just a plan. It's a lifeline, a spark that keeps your heart beating in the darkness. These tales echo through the cells, a grim chorus that dims your own resolve. The fear of capture, the pain of punishment, the crushing despair, freedom slips away once more. You weigh these fears against your desire, each moment a choice between hope and safety. Guards patrol relentlessly, their eyes scanning for even the slightest sign of rebellion. Every breath you take is measured, every shadow watched. Escape is not just a dream. It's a gamble with everything at stake. They protect each other in small ways. A shared word, a hidden morsel, a look of defiance. Sometimes, the very act of planning escape becomes a form of resistance, a way to fight back against the relentless weight of captivity, to reclaim a shred of control. But in a Roman prison, dreaming of escape is a dangerous game, tangled with desperation, fear, and the cruel reality of what freedom might actually cost you. Punishment tries to isolate, but sometimes it forges bonds. Madness edges closer in the solitude, the darkness pressing like a physical force on your mind. You picture the bustling streets, the bright sun, the smell of fresh air, a world where chains and walls hold no power over you. They are reminders that rebellion or defiance will meet swift and brutal consequences. You see men and women punished for small infractions, their screams ringing through the halls like warnings. Each strike is meant to remind you of your place, beneath the empire, beneath its soldiers, beneath the very idea of freedom. You learn to flinch before the blow lands, to make the pain predictable, but it never gets easier. Some punishments are worse, chains that bite into your flesh, shackles that turn your wrists and ankles raw and bleeding. Solitary confinement is a fate worse than the common cell. There's humiliation too. Guards take cruel delight in stripping prisoners naked, parading them before others, mocking their weakness. Public punishments send a message not just to you, but to every prisoner who watches. Sometimes punishment is not immediate, but slow and deliberate. You learn to fear the guards' footsteps approaching, their voices raised in anger or command. Yet, even in the face of such cruelty, some prisoners find ways to endure. You realize that in this language of pain, survival means learning the unspoken rules. When to submit, when to resist, when to hide your suffering. Pain is the prison's constant voice, harsh, relentless, unforgiving. It speaks clearly and without mercy. In the dim light of your cell, escape often feels like the only flicker of hope, a whispered dream that dances just out of reach. Every prisoner clutches this hope, however faint. You imagine slipping through the heavy gates, dodging guards with sharp eyes and sharper weapons, and vanishing into the sprawling city beyond. But dreaming is easier than doing. The prison is a fortress built to trap, designed to crush escape plans before they even take root. Planning an escape is a careful dance. Every whispered conversation, every stolen glance, every moment of shared trust carries immense risk. Sometimes the plan is simple. A loose stone in the wall, a forgotten key, a moment when a door is left ajar. Failed escapes become warnings etched in blood and fear. You hear stories from those who tried, Even the smallest hope can be snatched away in an instant. Yet, the hunger for freedom never fades. It's a fire that no wall can smother, no chain can bind. You imagine the taste of fresh bread, the sound of the marketplace, the laughter of strangers unaware of your plight. But there is also the nightmare that comes with it. And so you wait, caught between two worlds, the suffocating cell and the uncertain freedom beyond. In the heart of the Roman prison, the dream of escape is both a beacon. Prison isn't just a cage of stone and iron. It's a prison of the mind, a silent cell where despair, fear, and loneliness can lock you away, even when your body remains trapped. They assault you like a storm, stirring hope and pain all at once. But as days stretch into weeks, something shifts. Your mind starts to shrink, closing off the brighter corners, sealing away hope like a wound too deep to heal. In the dark hours, when the guards sleep and the cold sinks deep into your bones, your mind becomes the battlefield where survival truly begins. At first, your thoughts are noisy and wild, swirling memories of freedom, flashes of home, the taste of fresh air. The silence inside your head grows heavier. Your own heartbeat, your breathing, even the creak of the walls. These become the loudest sounds, echoing through the empty spaces where dreams once lived. Counting cracks in the wall, tracing patterns in the dirt floor, repeating prayers or phrases over and over. It hides in small things, a shared glance, a whispered story, the first light of dawn sneaking through a crack. These moments remind you that the mind, even in prison, can resist being broken. Surviving captivity means mastering this inner cell, guarding the last spark of your soul against the consuming night. These rituals become anchors, fragile threads holding them to reality. Each day you survive, you fight this silent war, learning that endurance is as much about the mind as the body. You might be surrounded by others, but inside your mind, you stand utterly alone. A memory of who you once were, a fragile hope for who you might still become. It was to endure the stripping away of identity, dignity, and dreams, and somehow still hold on to a thread of humanity. It was to find strength in the company of strangers, to fight the darkness in your mind, and to cling fiercely to the smallest glimpses of light. Even when the guard shadows loomed large, when the lashes cracked and the chains bit into your skin, the smallest sparks of resistance burned quietly inside. It was the breath taken in defiance of despair, the whispered hope against silence, the courage to live another day in a world designed to make you disappear. Scarred, haunted, but unbroken. You carried the story of captivity with you, a reminder of what it meant to survive when everything was taken away. You dreamed of escape, but the dream itself could feel like a trap, cruel and elusive. Your mind became both refuge and prison, a place where your fiercest struggles unfolded in silence. Conversations fade, faces blur, and the weight of isolation presses down, threatening to crush the last spark of your spirit. Without distractions, your fears grow louder, feeding on the darkness and the stillness. You recall better days, faces of loved ones, songs heard long ago. These memories offer comfort, but they also deepen the ache of loss. It's the slow erosion of hope, the relentless assault on body and soul, the constant shadow of despair that turns every day into a battle just to breathe. To be a prisoner in ancient Rome was to live at the mercy of a vast empire that saw you as nothing more than a number, a mistake, or a threat to be broken. You find yourself caught between clinging to the past and fearing the emptiness of the future. Loneliness becomes a constant companion. This fury is a double-edged sword. It can fuel resistance or spiral into despair. You learn to harness it, to turn rage into quiet resolve. Sometimes the mind turns to bargaining, pleading with the gods, with fate, with yourself. You promise change, you promise obedience, you promise anything for just one moment of freedom, one glimpse of light. But the prison offers no bargains, only silence and stone. Other times, the mind rebels. It fills with anger at the guards, at the empire, at the cruel fate that brought you here. Memory becomes both a refuge and a trap. Some prisoners develop rituals, small acts of control in a world where control is scarce. Hope, though battered, refuses to die completely. The hardest battle is not with chains or stone, but with the part of you that wants to give up, to let the darkness inside win. In the end, the mind is both your prison and your escape. It can trap you in despair or carry you beyond the walls in dreams. And so, in the heart of the Roman prison, the fiercest fight is the one within. A battle for hope, identity, and the will to live. The walls of a Roman prison are thick and unforgiving, but the true weight of captivity stretches far beyond stone and iron. You face darkness not only around you, but within. You lived surrounded by strangers, bound by suffering, punished by cruelty, haunted by silence. Yet, amid the filth, the pain, the cold, and the fear, there was something stubborn, a flicker that refused to be extinguished. To survive a Roman prison was to endure more than physical captivity. Freedom, for a prisoner, was more than a distant gate. So, when the gates finally opened, whether by mercy, escape, or fate, you stepped out changed. And in that survival lies a quiet victory, one that no empire, no prison, no darkness can ever fully erase.